Jedi are being murdered.
I didn't do it! Please believe me!
I says something. Oh.
Star Wars: The Acolyte, 2-episode premiere June 4th.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my Star Wars: The Acolyte Episode 2 recap, review, breakdown video. We are going to be discussing a number of different things that you might have missed throughout this episode, different references, Easter eggs, all of that great stuff we are going to be discussing throughout this video, as well as a plethora of my own thoughts and opinions and theories sprinkled throughout this video, by which I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking in the comments down below. Of course, we're going to go ahead, we're going to hop right on into it. Before we do, though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. Okay, so in this video, we are going to be taking a quick read from one of my favorites out there, dorksideoftheforce.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. I think it should also go without saying that, yes, of course, there are spoilers ahead for The Acolyte, both episodes that are now streaming on Disney+. Episode 1, I just put out our review / breakdown video here for that. Here on the channel, you guys can check that video out as well if you haven't already. Episode 2, the plot thickens easily with episode 2 of The Acolyte, as this episode is titled Revenge and Justice, as the twin sisters Osha and May realize that the other is alive, which is supposedly supposed to have been a big turning point or a big mystery, a part of this entirety of this show, but I think that everybody kind of already knew that, actually, if for anything, based off of the trailer and a lot of the different leaks that we've talked about and rumors that we've talked about here on the channel before. It's really nothing new all that much, to be honest with you guys, and I think that if for anything, the big mystery kind of twist, if for anything, is actually learning and figuring out the main motive, for one thing, as of to why May is going around and trying to assassinate these specific Jedi Masters and Jedi Knight that we also learn about in this episode. More specifically, their whole kind of backstory, what went on with the twins, their falling out and everything like that, maybe how May was actually able to survive as well is a big kind of mystery and question out there, because everybody seems to have thought that she was dead, and all of a sudden she pops up and is alive and well and is kind of going around and trying to murder people. Anyway, Star Wars: The Acolyte's first episode had kicked off with quite a bang and of a mystery, with a Jedi Master being killed off, especially within that first 5 minutes. Was not anticipating that for Master Endara. Osha, an ex-Jedi who's left the Jedi Order, is thought to be the culprit because she easily fits the description. However, she suspects that her twin sister, May, is well and alive after surviving a horrific fire in their childhood. The only other person who believes Osha and would be able to actually stand by as an alibi is her former old master, Master Soul. This episode opens on the planet of Olega at a local Jedi Temple outpost there. A little girl throws a ball at the sensor droid out front. She follows May's orders, who disables the droid and pays the girl before she goes in. May slinks through the hallways, avoiding the other Jedi, and, well, blends in with the civilians. She finds a floating meditating Jedi Master named Master Torben. She uses some of the same lead that she had used with Master Endara in Episode 1, Lost and Found, to try and get Torben to attack her, but Torben's not having it. He's just chilling, floating there, meditating, and deep in thought, kind of ignoring any outside forces. Torben doesn't attack and continues to meditate. May attacks him, but the Force is all around Torben, blocking her out as pretty much a barrier, a wall. It makes a barrier that her fists and knives simply can't get through. Suddenly, the other Jedi are aware of some type of break-in and now are coming into the hallways. May flees out of the top of the ceiling, disappearing. Back on the snowy planet of Karlak, we pick back up with May's twin sister, Osha, who is in the custody of her ex-Jedi Master Soul, his current Padawan Jackie Lon, and her once friend Jedi Knight Yord Fonder. Jackie is struggling with some ship controls, so Osha simply offers some friendly advice. The controls work just fine for Jackie after, and the two begin to talk. She introduces Jackie to her little pocket droid Pip too. Soul passes through, making them both fall silent, as Jackie, his Padawan, has a lot of respect for her master. She doesn't want to just be talking on the job, but kind of what it seems like. Yord meets with Soul in the hallway and protests that they're not restraining Osha, who has escaped custody before. Yord mentions that even if this is a so-called twin theory is true, what if Osha works for May, or vice versa, essentially? What if May and Osha are still on this whole murder scheme together anyway? Master Soul meets with Vanessa Rao over a hologram once again, and they push through with this mission. Acting fast is essentially with what they're trying to get at, and they also see as to how Osha is able to be an asset to them, if for anything. Master Soul trusts her. Yord is simply against Osha coming with them to Olega though, however. Osha brings up that she knows Torben, she as just knew Indara. Soul shuts down Yord's concern, pulling a bit of a rank on him if for anything, but with that, they set a course for Olega. Back on the planet, May moves through the streets until she comes to the shop owned by Quimir, who is sleeping in the back of his shop. She throws a cup at him to wake him up, and May questions his clothes, and turns out this place is not actually his shop. He took the clothes and the shop from the owner to blend in, actually. A bit of a twist there. Quimir knows that she was trying to kill a Jedi the night before. She's frustrated, thinking that the Jedi is impenetrable, so she knows and wants him to kind of make him a poison for killing Master Torben. Apparently May is on some sort of a timer to get these kills done. This murder's kind of all done through. She needs to kill Torben fast. Quimir pokes fun that will never be able to kill the Wookiee Jedi next. She only has 2 more Jedi left to kill after Torben to please her master, who's a big mystery at this point in time. He makes them both drinks, waxing poetic that the so-called peace that the Jedi stand for is simply a lie. Of course, very similar to how we see people react to the Empire, those same people react the same to the Republic and to the Jedi. There's people that are going to be against those ideas and that control. He brews his concoction, making her a poison in the process. Before she leaves, May tells Quimir not to tell him about this transaction, into reference of May's master. Back with the Jedi, Soul asks Osha about her tattoo that she got one night with her crew. She jokes that he hates it, but he quips back that it doesn't really matter what he likes and thinks. They discuss May possibly being the killer, even though they both apparently saw May die 16 years ago at a fire. Master Soul admits that he wanted to save both of the girls, of course, but he could only rescue Osha in time the night that her family and her village had met their demise. He made peace with what had happened that night. Osha has not and still carries that trauma and grief. Master Soul admits that he might not have been a very good teacher to her as well throughout those years of her being a part of the Jedi Order. Their ship is now approaching Olega and swoops into land on the town. They head back to the Jedi Temple, where they are greeted by another Temple Jedi. While they kind of get the story of what had happened the previous night, May returns for Torben, slipping in through the ceiling at the very moment that they're there, talking right outside. May asks if Torben remembers her, poking fun at it and kind of trying to get him out of his meditation. He took the Barish vow, an oath taken by Jedi, who completely refrained from all activities related to the Jedi Order as a form of penitence, and disengaging from anything but the Force itself, committing themselves into gaining an ultimate communion with it. I'll have more on that in a whole separate another video, in more detail and in more depth here on the channel. It's all the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already. She knows why he had took that vow simply 10 years ago to escape his past. She gives him an ultimatum. Torben can confess to his crime to the Jedi Council, or drink the poison to receive forgiveness. Torben opens his eyes at this time and drops to the ground. I find this kind of crazy for the fact that he's been in this meditation state for the better part of a decade, 10 years, and this is what gets him to wake up and, well, taking the poison, simply killing himself. Whatever he's done that he would want to avoid confessing to the Jedi Council, whatever crime he's done, it has to be bad if you're just going to want to kind of up and off yourself, kind of, if for anything. There's a lot of different theories on that, and hopefully it will be revealed sooner or later in the next couple of episodes. Anyway, Soul wants to speak to Torben, and the Jedi welcome them into the temple. While moving through the hallways, Osha sees a vision of young May. She dashes off to follow while Yorda watches her go, keeping an eye on her. Back with May, Torben asks for forgiveness, saying that he had thought that they were doing the right thing, and with that, he willingly takes the poison, offing himself. Through the Force, Soul senses a disturbance, and he begins to sprint ahead as everybody follows. Osha has beaten them though, finding the poison bottle and now Torben laying dead. May is gone, and the ceiling is also open. Everyone else rushes in, which looks really bad for Osha, finding her over a dead body. Thankfully, Yord quickly clears her, as he had followed her through the back way as well. The group analyzes Torben's body, realizing that there's simply no struggle. Torben killed himself. Osha also recognizes this poison, that it's made from a leaf that grows on her home planet, or maybe what's left of her home planet. The Jedi scope out the nearby Apthakari, and the local Jedi don't really recognize Quimir. Yord wants to make his elaborate plan to capture Quimir, bring him back to the ship and question him then. Jackie, on the other hand, says that they should just use Osha, as, well, May and Osha are twins. If this guy is sold to May, and they're twins, Osha can just kind of walk right in and talk to the guy while the Jedi record it. It would also get them a confession that May is the culprit at the same time as well, and that Quimir has involvement, so that's what they go with. Soul agrees with his Padawan's plan, which makes Yord look a bit put off, but anyway, they move out with their plan, and with Pip recording under Osha's cloak. Osha enters the shop where Quimir does call her by May's name and brings up the poison. Quimir notes how strange Osha is acting as well, and brings up the mysterious him again, into reference of May's master. With the info that they need, the Jedi move out to extract Osha. This is a good move because Quimir realizes that the woman before him is not May. The Jedi rush in and surround him. Quimir quickly tries to bluff his way out of this one, but simply can't. They now have the evidence that they need. Soul brings up this mysterious he that they had heard over the comm and wants to know if that's May's master, which, if you put two and two together, it seems to be. Quimir feints as if he has no idea of what's happening, that he's simply just a guy that works there. He's just a supplier. He admits that she wants revenge on 4 specific Jedi. May will be returning that night because Quimir has some other things for her. The Jedi move out to prepare for May's arrival at that time. And so, fast forwarding to that night, everyone is in their position. The plan is to let Soul confront May alone. However, Osha wants to see her sister. Not for a sweet reunion, but because May killed their family. Osha is still angry at that. Soul tries to guide her to let her grief go, but Osha wants her justice. Soul calls it revenge. He couldn't save May as a child, and he wants to try and save her now if he can, and with that, he begins to leave. Osha stops him and notes that May wants to kill 4 other Jedi, and Osha has an idea of who they all are, and that they were stationed at their home planet 16 years ago when this fire had broke out. The 4 Jedi are Endara, Torben, another named Kalneka, and, well, Master Soul. Master Kalneka, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to be the Wookiee Jedi that we saw at the end of this episode, and that we'll probably see in the next episode. It also goes that Soul is on that list, and that he is a target. Master Soul tells her to have faith in May and in him, and with that he leaves to face the young assassin. Yord spots May coming towards Quimir's shop. Jedi readies their ship, and the plan is now in motion as Soul calls out May's name. She instantly almost attacks him, unlike the other Jedi Masters, wanting them to attack first, and the two begin to brawl out from there. With each pass, he slowly disarms her of her knives and keeps her out of reach of his lightsaber. He wants to know who's trained her. During the battle, everyone else kind of listens in on the comms, trying to pull info, and while also keeping a close eye on Master Soul, making sure that he doesn't get into too much trouble, but he can handle her. Master Soul pins May with the Force at one point, and he sees her in her mind that her master hides his identity from himself and from May as well, and that even if May wanted to tell them who her master is, he simply can't. She breaks free from his hold, pulling another hidden knife out at the time. May reveals that she thinks that Osha is dead. When Soul says that Osha is very much alive, May calls her a liar and begins to attack with pure rage. But Yord interferes, ripping the knife from her hand. He confirms that Osha is alive and well. The Jedi surround May, and Soul offers his hand to May, bringing help, wanting to help her. Throwing her hands down with the force, she kicks up the dirt around them to mask her escape. Mei flees into the night. Osha hears this over the comms and heads out to find her sister in the village. While trying to steal a speeder from a civilian, Mei stops when Osha comes out of the alley pointing a blaster at her twin. Mei looks in shock and sees her sister, who, she thought was dead, calling her the nickname Oshi. Osha hesitates, missing her chance to stun her sister. Mei flees in the speeder, getting away as Master Soul and Yord arrive at the scene. It seemed like maybe Osha wasn't necessarily hesitating. I mean, yeah, she was hesitating, but it seemed like that she was almost trying to kind of purposely miss. Back on the Jedi ship, Soul is bickering with Vanestra over a hologram about what to do next. Vanestra and the Jedi Council want to have a more meaningful discussion before any further steps are taken. Master Soul knows Mei is gunning for the Jedi Kalneka as well. They know that her next target, and they don't want to hesitate on it. Vanestra cuts to transmission. The next day, we come to Quaimar watches the Jedi at the local temple when Mei springs out and tries to attack him. He quickly pins her against a wall. She's angry that he's sold her out. He counters that they can get them off of this planet and go to Kofar, which happens to be where the Wookiee Jedi Master Kalneka lives. The two then flee into the streets from there. The episode begins to come to a conclusion on Kofar, where two travelers find Master Kalneka's home, and a bit of a post-credit kind of teaser is something I really actually liked. I thought it was actually pretty funny. The Wookiee Jedi comes out of the forest and scares them off, setting things up for the next episode of The Acolyte. It's from here where The Acolyte Episode 2, titled Revenge and Justice, comes to its conclusion. This entire episode had me on the edge of my seat, very similar to as I have mentioned in our not just reaction videos for The Acolyte, but also my Acolyte Episode 1 breakdown video here on the channel. You guys can watch it now. As of to, the stakes are high. We don't know what's going to happen. Anyone can kick the bucket. And that whole fight scene that had gone on between Mei and Master Soul, I really thought that would be the demise of Master Soul. I thought that was going to be it. That's where he would get killed off pretty much. Thankfully, it appears that I was wrong about that, and well, yeah. As I had also mentioned throughout this video, there's a lot of other details that need to be kind of explained in more detail and in more depth in separate future videos here on the channel. All the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, guys. This year all being said, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.